everyone. Hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Rita Babalola, the ED of Beacon Gate Limited. We're back on here this 2024. I know you must have missed me. I've missed you all there. So we have something fantastic today. But first, did you check out my LinkedIn post today where we have the power of the female folks doing wonders in the workplace, even on the field, football field, and the rugby field? So with me here today, I have some amazing women that you're going to do a shout out. Hello, babies.
Hello. Hi.
So we're going live now. Yeah, already live, sorry. Okay, so I have with me Awele Ofolwe. She's the HR generalist for Beacon Gate. And then I have the amazing Amazon, outstanding, dedicated, loyal,
Mhm.
committed,
Mhm.
dedicated,
That's a
lot
motivated,
for one
Uh-huh.
person.
agile, innovative, Victoria Okuwe, and now hi. Please welcome into the house.
Thank
Okay,
you
so
so
today, yeah, Victoria, you're welcome on board. We'll be talking about.
Sorry, ma, I wanted to ask, are there people online?
Okay, so did we go online because we're not seeing anyone who is there
Yes.
with us?
Just you can
Let's see.
put a chat.
Let me see if you're there. Can you just drop an emoji? I think for this rest stream, can you call Joy? Blessing rather. I don't think we'll be able to see anyone. I think it's from my LinkedIn page, you'll be able to attend to people. I think this is the way the platform is been designed. Okay, I think so. But let her come to confirm that. Okay, so
But
that
if you can hear us, just say hi, hello.
Victoria, can you put on your LinkedIn? I don't know if she was able to do that. So it's on the LinkedIn, you'll be able to see comments. Blessing should be able to take charge of the admin scene from that hand. Okay. I know you must have seen what has been posted on my LinkedIn that we'll be discussing Victoria remarkable story and our work ethics in terms of standard. Yes. So for everyone there, I know I cannot see you, but don't worry. In the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm exiting because I have something going on in my office, or rather, the conference room. They're using my office. So this amazing person came into Beacon Gate sometime in 2020, yeah, thereabout. And she came with the full force of someone that knows where she's going, someone that knows what is behind the scene, what is driving her. And since then, she's been a brand that I'm proud of. So I thought of something in bringing out there in the space because I do a lot of recruitment, I do a lot of training. Few organizations have people that they could celebrate and they are dedicated to or committed to. We want to celebrate her. And one of those days in the beginning of the year, I think I did an employee engagement program where some staff were celebrated. But because she already has a brand on LinkedIn, that's why we decided to use her and let her let her sell us a unique and inspiring story. How did she know she was going to do HR? Who is Victoria Ehai? How does she have time to combine home, the professional work experience, and then even presence online? So for now, Rita Babala is hesitating. I'll miss you all, but I'm going to watch the program later on. So I'll leave you all and thank you for believing in the brand. I will leave you all to listen to this inspiring story. For some of us, we need to hear it because sometimes we think it's not possible, but we can actually do wonders if only our mind is in it and we're committed to it. So see ya.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ede, Mrs. Rita Babalola. Thank you so much. But first, before we start up, let's just say Happy New Year to you all. It's been a while. So if you're watching us, you can put a comment to wish someone a Happy New Year. So you can call out anybody's name, say Happy New Year. Remember, it's the month of love. So this is the best way to say I love you. So say Happy New Year to anyone on the call right now. All right, so we'll start off from there. So I'm just gonna give you a few minutes before we start, few seconds rather. All right. All right, thank you everyone. So today we are going to be talking about your career and you. And we have Victoria Okuwe Erahi. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
All right, so a few weeks ago, we saw a post online, and of course, we were actually dancing towards ED. Please, can you tell us about it?
Okay, thank you very much for this platform. So I can share my insight and thoughts on this session. Okay, some weeks ago, I got a notification that I was tagged to Mrs. Rita Babalola's post. And then when I saw it, I was like, it's one of those videos where I was dancing in the office. Okay, so we're having an employee engagement program where, of course, employees who have been outstanding in the organizations were recognized for their outstanding performance. And I got one of those recognition, and of course, I was excited. You know, it's exciting to see that the hard work you put into things is actually yielding result. Is it's el- it's exciting to see that you add value to a particular thing, a particular project, an organization, and then you're called, you're recognized for it. Of course, such gestures want to make you do more. So that was my little dancing video.
Okay,
That
so
was
can you specifically tell us what you were recognized for?
okay. It's a combination of a lot, actually.
Okay. Are you listening?
I will just pick a few. It's about an outstanding performance over, over the period of 1 year. That's 2023. Recognizing my performance, recognizing my contribution to the growth of the organization. So it is all encompassing, and also upholding the core values of Beacon Gate as a whole.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start off with okay, I would like to ask, you have up to 9 years experience in HR, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what course did you study in school?
I'm sure a lot of people will be laughing. I studied fishes and aquaculture, actually.
So why HR? How did you what made you to choose HR as a course?
Okay, so let me just go back into retrospect. Of course, I'm an energetic fellow. I love to lead. I love to take on projects. I love to assist. But of course, as a young teenager then seeking admission into the Nigerian university, I studied sciences, pure sciences. So I'd always wanted to be a pediatrician. I love children. I'd always wanted to be a doctor, to take care of children and all of that. So I applied for a particular university, and I was given industrial physics, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to continue applying till I get what I wanted. I went for another one and I got microbiology. And as at that time, the clock was ticking, time was going. I think I declined three. And it got to a point where I was not even getting any admission at all. So I had to go through a pre-degree route to Ebonyi State University. And then it was as if admission was not coming. So at that point now, I was not one declining. I was actually looking forward to anything you guys give me. Just let me go to BSc. Just let me get my BSc. Just let me go to school. Whatever I'll do after school will find its way. I'll find my way around it. So I went to the admissions board and I saw fisheries and aquaculture. It was actually quite weird, but of course, for someone who was desperate at that time, I was once a lady who was declining, but now I'm desperate. So I studied the course. Think when I finished, I thought that I was going to be able to do something because, of course, we have the National School of Oceanography in Victoria Island. I thought that I could further, I could go to Thailand, learn something about fisheries. So when I went to do internship, I was asked a few questions, which actually made me know that I wasn't prepared. So I went back. I was like, what can I do with my life at this point? So I just started applying, of course, fresh graduate, applying to various places and all of that. Although I knew the skills I had when I started applying, but I didn't know how to put it into good use. So I started applying. So I started off my career as an administrative person. So I started noticing some kind of funny things in my organization as at that time. And then I remember my head of department telling me that, oh, Victoria, don't you want to try HR? I'm like, what's HR? I'm like, okay. I would go online to study about what HR actually means. So when I was studying about it, I got to find out that those were some of the skills I have. And this is a place where I know that I could utilize those skills to add value to various organizations and all of that. So I started taking off a course on Allison. I took a course on Udemy just to get a broader perspective. I had not started applying then, just to get a broader perspective about what human resources about. So I was like, I think this is something I could do. And of course, I don't know math, so I didn't want any career that would actually affect me with calculations and all of that. Although in human resource, you have to do a lot of analytics now. But then I was like, this career path seemed to encompass what I think I would be good at doing. So I took a course. On Allison, like I said, it actually broadened my horizon, gave me a perspective, gave me insight into what human resource was about. Took another one on Udemy, and that was how I just started taking several courses. I took a lot of online courses on human resource. Then afterwards, I applied to write the CIPM exam.
Okay, so that was before you got your first job as an HR.
Yes, that was before I got
So
my
you've
first job.
actually done several um,
Online courses.
online courses.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I took my first exam and then I felt that this was time. I started applying to HR roles. At that point, I was clear where I wanted. I'd read about it. I knew what it was. I knew what I was going to do, that this is actually the career for me. So I was going to put my all. I wasn't that candidate. It was early, yes, but I was intentional.
Okay.
I was like, I knew this is it. It wasn't a case for me like if it is not this, it is this. No, it has to be this. And I would keep applying till I get a role. So I started applying to various roles in entry level human resource. I got my first role. Not like it was so fantastic, but I started learning the intricacies of human resource in an organization. Of course, what I had before was theoretical knowledge.
Okay.
So I started understanding what it means to be an HR person in an organization, what your functions were. And then I became intentional. I said, okay, now we know that this is what we want to do.
Okay, so I'll have to cut you short
Okay.
here. You said something. We'll come back. Okay. So you said something. The skills you had.
Okay.
You knew you had some skills.
Yes.
How were you able to develop those skills?
Okay, so I mentioned that I knew I had some skills. I knew that I can communicate well.
Okay.
I could manage people at a basic level. Of course, there's various levels for competences, but at a basic level, I could manage people. I've been given several projects in school and in church that I've been able to manage well. Whenever we have a project, everybody wants Victoria to be in it. I was the vice president of my department at that time, so I was, using all those. I could communicate well. I'm not afraid of crowd.
Okay.
So those were some of the things I knew I had. So I needed a platform where I could utilize those skills. So of course, you being in the human resource, you don't have to, stay at where you are. I started taking trainings. I'm a lover of learning, if I should use that word. I'm always at any training available, whether online or paid training. And I'm that kind of person that I don't wait for my employers to pay for me. I know what I want. I know where I'm going to. I always tell people that I'm an institution. So yes, I'm an institution. I'm
Did
a
you
place
hear
of
that?
learning.
You can actually affirm that to yourself. You are an institution. But before we continue, remember she said something very specific. She said she identified the skills she had, right?
Yes.
Over the years. And how was she able to build them? Through some groups, churches. So start identifying those skills that you have, but you don't know you have them. Okay, remember she mentioned communication skills. She could communicate very well, and of course leading a team, which is very important as an HR professional. So go on.
Yes. Okay. So, like I mentioned, I already had those skills. So I made myself available to all the trainings. Of course, not just any training, trainings that would aid my growth. One of the persons I'm going to give credit to, we call him Prof. Adeyemi Ajayi. He's one of my mentors who have actually helped me grow. I always find myself in every of his trainings.
So just a second. Hi, Prof. In case if you get to watch this video.
Yes, I always
Thank you for everything you've been doing in the HR space.
Yes.
So this is a testifier. Thank you.
So I always availed myself to every of his training, and one thing about him is that he always gives back. So as at that time, not like I could afford trainings that were running into hundreds of thousands or millions of naira. Those ones that were like maybe 10,000 naira, I will pay for it. Those ones that they'll say, okay, come and attend the training. There was one Kendall Consulting was always doing.
Okay.
Free training, but probably if you need a certificate or you need to go to another level. So I was always availing myself with trainings. I wanted to know what's currently happening in the human resource space. And so those were things that helped me to, build myself in human resource.
And do you have any regrets so far taking this as a career?
No, I don't have any regret.
Okay, so could you please share some learning experiences you've had over the years?
Okay, so navigating the intricacies of my career path as an HR professional, it takes intentionality.
Okay.
That's the first step. You're intentional about where you want to go. Sometimes that's why I tell people start off early. People will say, "Oh, Victoria, your years of experience is not so much, but you know so much." I know this much because I started early.
Okay.
You don't have to wait till probably you have 4 years experience to want to leave where you are. I knew what I wanted and I was going for it. I never applied to any job role that was not HR related. I wasn't that type that say, "Oh, no job is coming, so let me just go and do something
Sorry,
else."
let me cut you short there. If you're not getting what she said she never applied to any job that wasn't HR related.
Yes.
Because sometimes we do get CVs of people who have done
Several
several things. Like I received one. He has done digital marketing. He has done a network. He has done admin. He has done procurement, and then he was applying for facility. Come on, you have to be very intentional.
Yes, so I was intentional about what I wanted. God being so kind on my path, I started getting interviews, and then that's why sometimes when people check my CV, you see a lot of HR. I've been in HR for quite a while now.
Okay.
It was because I was intentional. I started getting opportunities to work in. I got an opportunity to work in a particular organization, and then I started growing from there. So, like I mentioned, navigating the intricacies of my career path. Number one is intentionality. I'm intentional about what I want, and I will go for it. I'm a go-getter. I would get it. I know I will get it. It might take a while, but I know I'm going to get it. So I am intentional about what I want. I'm intentional about my growth. And because I am intentional about all of these things, it makes me want to do things to grow. It makes me want to do things to learn. It makes me want to do things to unlearn some of those probably behaviors that are not ethical. It makes me want to relearn those ones that are ethical. And of course, being a human resource person, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with the greatest asset of an organization, you're dealing with an organization as a whole. So you cannot stay redundant in terms of knowledge, because what was trendy in human resource last year is not what is going to be this year, especially after COVID. At first we never thought that the human resource space we could work remotely.
Yeah.
So now I am learning every time, because of course as a result of my profession, you're dealing with several humans.
Yes.
The way I deal with employee A is not the way I deal with employee B.
Yes.
The way I deal with employee C is not the way I deal with employee E. And of course, employers are different. I've had an experience in the hospitality sector. I've had an experience in construction, and now I'm in consulting. So it is different. The skills you have as an HR person in a construction industry is different from the one in
Exactly. I
consulting.
agree.
So you always have to keep updating yourself.
Exactly.
So if I come here now and say, oh, I've been an HR for years, I've been an HR professional for years, and I've always been in the hospitality sector, and then I am now moving into maybe a multinational where they have to manage union, I'll probably struggle
Yeah.
if I have those skills and I'm not updating it.
Okay.
So what has always helped me is that I always update my skills. I always update myself. Like I always tell people, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. Sure.
So I must make sure that my cup is never empty.
Sure.
My cup is always full. So I am intentional.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned when I started, I'm self-aware. I know my skills. I know my strength. When I started, I didn't mention this. I took a personality test.
Okay.
That's the Myers-Briggs personality test.
Okay.
So, of course, there's an aspect where you would see, okay, what kind of profession you can fit into. So, I already knew those things. So, I'm intentional.
So for those who are still wondering if they would venture into HR or any other career, are you advising they take a personality test?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go on.
Okay, so it is important that when you're going into a career, the truth is we all can survive anywhere, but you need to know how to survive. You need to know what you're good at so that you're coming into that career well equipped and well armed.
Okay.
You can take a person. The truth is there are some things you have innate skills that you have that you probably are not aware of. So when you take this personality test, it exposes you to who you are. It exposes you to probably your weaknesses. It exposes you to your strength. So you're well aware of yourself. I don't need somebody to say, Victoria, you are this. I know. I know I am that. So sometimes people will say, Victoria, you're proud. I am proud of who I am because I know who I am. I know that, okay, personalities like this, these are areas that could be areas of weakness. So I know how to work on it.
Okay.
And of course, as an HR professional, I always do feedback.
Okay.
I had feedback session with my team.
Okay, so we'll come back there. And before we proceed, what would you tell? Okay, if you have any question, please kindly drop it on the comment section. Okay, so what would you say to someone who is an introvert? Because you mentioned you have a very good communication skill. All right, you love to lead people. So what would you say to someone who is an introvert, does not want to speak to anybody, just want to be alone, but actually want to be in the HR space? What would you say?
Okay, just like I mentioned while I was having my this session, I said anybody can succeed anywhere if you know who you are.
Okay.
You cannot be an HR person and you say you will not talk.
Okay.
You cannot be an HR person and you say you will not engage people. In this profession, you will engage people.
Okay.
You will talk. So what you have to do is know your strength.
Okay.
Now, you cannot say, oh, I'm an HR person, I come into the office, I'm not going to engage employees. It doesn't work that way. How do you build relationship with your team? How do you understand stakeholder management? Because of course there are members of your team who are like that. So you need to know what your profession requires and then align yourself in that regard. Okay, as a human resource professional, what will make me excel as an HR person in Beacon Gate?
Okay.
What would make me excel and add value as an HR person in XYZ? What will make me excel as a human being living on earth? Because you're going to be doing presentations, you're going to be speaking with management. You will need to learn to defend some things at some point in time. So you cannot say, oh, I'm an HR person, I don't like to talk. The first thing, know what your weaknesses are and know how you can minimize those weaknesses. Learn those skills that would help you upgrade yourself. Where are those times that I need to engage? If I need to engage people, how do I go about it? Nobody is asking you to be loquacious in the office. You can still be probably an introverted person and still excel as an HR person. So we're not saying it's all extroverts that are excelling as HR people.
Yeah, sure.
Know what to do part-time and how to do it.
Yeah. All right. So, before we moving on, there's a question here, but I think the question has already been answered. But let me just read it out. It says, "How can one identify one's skills, please?"
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to use myself as an example. Like I mentioned, you cannot identify some of your skills without doing nothing. You
Exactly.
cannot say, oh, probably I'm a good communicator, but you've never had
Spoken.
platforms.
Yeah.
You don't get engaged. Let me start. I'm a Christian, so I get engaged in church activities, whatever would require to speak, whatever would require probably an advice, an opinion, or something. You have to start doing something. That is how you find out.
Come to think about it, the actress and the actors we have today, I'm sure they never knew they could act
True.
until they stood in front of the camera and they said, "One, two, three, action."
Of course. So, how you
Yes.
find out your skills, like I mentioned, you have to start getting involved in something. Naturally, sometimes you can know, okay, I am good at this. But if you never put it to use, you don't know how good you are. And also, the personality test, like I mentioned, will help you. It actually helped me. I already know from the get go that I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
I already know my temperament. I'm sure when I talk about temperament with people, they're like, "What's that?" You have the sanguine, you have the choleric, you have the melancholy, and you have the phlegmatic kind of personality. So if you're struggling with identifying what kind of skills are associated to certain temperaments, you can, go online to read about temperament. We have four primary temperaments. One is the sanguine, another one is sanguine. They are the playful people, they are the joyful people. We have the melancholics, they are the disciplinarian, they are we want to tend to call them the perfectionists. We have the phlegmatic. Introverts fall into this category.
Okay.
So we have the quiet. They take their time to do things. There's the fourth one. Let me start again. I actually mentioned it when I started: phlegmatic, sanguine, melancholy. There's a fourth one, and that's actually funny enough. That's actually where I fall. So
Amazing.
so you have to know those things. You read, find out. Okay, for the phlegmatic, you'll see, oh, these are the skills that are associated with this kind of person. Oh, you will now be able to say, okay, I have noticed this with myself. I've been able to notice this with myself. Oh, I think this is where the shortfall is. So you cannot just sit down and say, oh, I don't know my skills without doing anything. You will not know what they are. You need to read. You need to start getting involved in something. You see, find out that some of those skills that you might have that you don't know. Probably when you do something, somebody is saying, "Oh, Ola, you're good at that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Ola, why don't you try? Oh, Victoria, why don't you try? Oh, Maureen, why don't you do ABC?" So those are areas where you can find out what you are good at. And then as you begin to engage, you can start developing other skills and improve on it.
Thank you so much. So we are still waiting for your question, but I would like to ask then if you have.
Yes, thank you,
Choleric.
Clementina. Choleric.
Okay.
Yes, I'm actually a choleric person. My primary temperament, they tend to call them like the leaders, they are vocal, they're the vocal people. My primary temperament is choleric, and my secondary temperament is sanguine. I tend to be very playful sometimes. So yes, thank you very much, Clementina.
All right, so we are still waiting for your question. Should in case you have any question. Okay, so you mentioned having experience working in the construction industry, consulting and hospitality. Tell us how important it is as an HR professional.
Okay. As an HR professional, the first things first is the ability to, manage people, because you're going to work with people from all walks of life. And of course, if you've ever worked in the construction industry, of course, you're going to meet the blue collar
Yes.
employees. The ability to come down to each person's level. If I know I'm speaking to an executive, I go to the level of an executive. If I know I'm speaking to a mid-level person, I go to the mid-level person's level, and then I speak their language. If I go to let's say I'm speaking with the blue collar. I'm not that type of HR that don't know how to speak pidgin English.
Mhm.
Whatever platform I find myself, I deploy myself to suit that platform. So I'm going to give an example. I was at the National Assembly some years ago. I was the HR consultant managing the HR activities and operations for the National Assembly workforce. And then when I started, we had to do an onboarding. There were some employees that were not happy because there was a change of, we're transitioning into another management.
Okay.
And of course, I had a lot of uneducated people there. I wasn't going to be speaking English and speaking words that they do not know. I came down to pidgin English.
Mm.
So those were, I kind of bought their hearts with that, coming down to everybody's level. And I'm not this HR person while I was there that nobody can reach me. I made my number open to anybody, everybody. There at the National Assembly, the cleaners can call me, the mechanics can call me, the plumbers can call me. You make them feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah.
So you need, as an HR professional in various organizations, you need to understand what is peculiar in your industry. So for that, that's one of the things that helped me, because you're going to be dealing with these people a lot. And sometimes you get to hear some of these people, I'm still in this organization because of this person.
Yeah.
This madam know how to speak to this person. And then you come to hospitality, because of the intricacies of hospitality, we tend to work longer hours.
Yeah.
So you need to understand what is peculiar. And sometimes employee attrition rate is high.
Mhm.
So we need to understand what works for this sector,
Yeah.
what works for these people. And now I'm in the consulting space. Of course, in the consulting, you have to speak a lot of English.
Exactly.
You have to understand a lot of clients' need.
Exactly.
You have to do a lot of analysis and all of that. So whenever you go into any industry, how you will excel first is by finding out what are the intricacies in this industry, what is peculiar to this industry, so that you can align yourself to it. If it's a skill you don't have, you learn it. I don't believe there's nothing that nobody can learn, whether you're in probably a multinational, you're in the manufacturing. Find out what is peculiar to that industry and then align yourself to it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a question here before we proceed. It says from Bless Nika, I want to pursue the career, but I don't know how to go about it. Any advice, please?
Okay, she mentioned the career. Which career? I want to
I
believe.
think HR.
Okay.
Yes.
If you want to pursue a career in human
And
resources,
she says she has the HR certificate.
okay, thank you very much. So when I have the opportunity to mentor some persons that want to, and transition into HR, first things first, why? That's the question. You need to know your why. Why is your value proposition? HR is a low barrier to entry profession. So you see, everybody wants to come in
Okay.
without having the right skills, without understanding why they want to go into it. I just want to go into HR because I love it. Loving alone will not do it.
Mhm.
So why do you want to go into HR? What did you find out about yourself that wants to make you go into HR? Why not accounting? Why not auditing? Why not operations? Why not customer service? What do you know about yourself? What do you know about this profession? And every time I'm interviewing probably interns, those who want to trust, I always ask them this question, because it is from the why you will know how.
Yeah.
You don't know your
Correct.
why, you just want to know how, when, where. It doesn't work that way.
Very correct.
So if you want to go into any profession, not just HR, why that profession? Why am I choosing
Sorry,
it?
sometimes people just think HR is all about interviewing candidates. It goes beyond that.
Yes, that's why I said a lot of people feel that human resource is a low barrier to entry profession, so anybody can do it. Not until you come in, you have to do stakeholder management, strategic planning, recruitment. You have to
Training.
employ, and then everybody starts. And then you have to work with people, because there are several. This popular saying, human beings are the ones you cannot please.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to deal with employee, and everybody starts saying, "Oh, this person is like this. I never knew this person is like this." If you do not have a strong why, you will struggle in any profession.
Very
So
correct.
before you go into HR, ask yourself why. Why do I want to go into HR? Because the truth is, for every profession, you will get a moment of shaking. You will get, so it is that why that keeps you. It is not just passion. Of course, passion is part of it. It is that why. Because I'll ask people, why do you want to go into human resource? I have a passion for it. Define your passion. A lot of times our passions are not defined. I also could have passion for soap making. I could have passion for selling slippers.
Even acting.
I could have passion for anything, but define your passion.
Yeah.
So your why is your value proposition. So know why you want to go into it so that you'll be able to align yourself. Okay, the reason why I want to go into human resources is because I've been able to find out that I have good communication skills. I have good people management skills, although I know I could build on it. I have good presentation skills. I know how to be an intermediate, mediate between people. I've had opportunities to work mediate between two people that have grievances. And I see that HR is a profession where I can deploy these skills and be able to, bring about value to the objective of an organization. Then you know, okay, I have my why. So how do I grow on this why? That's where we take it up from.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm sure you heard that. So we have another question from Harry. Could you please read it also?
Okay, how do you manage an intuitive CEO who is very impatient? Thank you very much for that question. Now, the thing is, there's something Mrs. Rita always tells us, say, manage yourself, manage your boss, and manage your network. Your network means your environment. First things first, understand your boss.
Yeah.
A lot of us, it's not like we do not have bosses who can tend to go overboard sometimes, but you need to learn who are they? What are their trigger points?
Yeah.
If you understand who they are, not CEO now, who they are as a person. I was having a conversation with one of the clients on Beacon Gate yesterday, and the person said, because we just onboarded a new client, and the person said, Victoria, I believe that you have to understand how I think. And now, if I don't understand how that client thinks, I'm going to struggle working with him, regardless of the HR initiative I come up with, regardless of the skills I have. It will not end up to saying either of us is toxic. First things first, how does this person think? Who are they? Let me take for example, I am the CEO, right? You need to understand me as a person. What kind of temperament do I have? One of the things that have helped me with some of my bosses, I understand what are their temperaments. Is this person a choleric boss? Then you will know that, okay, choleric, these are their weaknesses. Phlegmatic, these are their weaknesses. Melancholy, these are their weaknesses. Understand the temperament. How does this person work? How does this person think? There is a particular temperamental person or probably temperament, they are impatient. So what do I do to align myself? If this person is like this, okay, what are those things that I have done that will make my boss say, oh, this is not good, I cannot wait, I cannot do this? So you know that, okay, before he says this, I should have done this.
Exactly.
Before he does this, I should have done this. What are his trigger points? Okay, these are the kind of things that trigger my boss. If I know that money trigger my boss as an HR professional, for example, I know that whenever I'm bringing any HR initiative that is going to trigger my boss and is going to require finances, what I'm going to do is I won't bring it to him first. I'll first of all get a buy-in of the stakeholders in the organization. Ensure that they understand. And then whenever I'm giving my management report, I'll start preparing his mind little by little. Because I know at the end of the day, money would, of course, we're going to be talking about finances.
Yes.
So money would actually leave the organization. I'll get stakeholders buying. What some of us do sometimes, we'll just carry that initiative, we'll go to management, and management will decline. So what I'll do if I was in that situation, I'm going to I'm going to get stakeholders buying, ensure that they understand it, and then come from an angle of profitability for the organization.
Yeah, very important.
My CEO need to see how that thing would add value to the organization. If
and
he
of course,
doesn't,
boost the brand.
yes, if he doesn't see value, he might not approve it. So as against me just going, of course, before he would call people in the organization to say, CFO, HR said they want to do ABC, ABC. What do you think? CFO, I've already spoken to CFO. I've gotten his buy. CFO will say, Oga, people are this one, we need to do this. And before Oga will now say, okay, let's go ahead. So one of the things that would help you is understand how your boss think, how he works. Understand him first as a person. Understand him first as a human being. What is his temperament? What are his trigger points? And then you'll be able to manage him.
All right, thank you so much. We have 2 more minutes to sign out. So if you have any question within the 2 minutes that we have left, you can actually drop it on the chat box. Or what would be your last word to someone who's still not able to comprehend everything that we've said, or still in the middle of should I go this way or should I go that way?
Okay, so if you have probably it's okay for you to feel that way at some point in your life. Of course, everybody wants to be sure that whatever they're going to do with their life is the right thing. It's okay to actually be in a neither here nor there, but don't stay there for a very long time. So if you want to ensure that you have a good career and you progress well in your career, what I'm going to advise you to do is be intentional about what you want.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Know what you're good at. You can never underrate self-awareness. There are people who might really not do well in human resource, but they will do well in accounting. Know yourself. Know yourself. Know the skills you have. Know what are the strengths you have. And then go and do a research. Where can I succeed
And
with
of
the
course,
skills I have?
sorry, we have just a minute. And of course, networking as well.
Yes, you
Yes.
cannot negate the power of people.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the things that I mentioned that I leveraged on profs training. You need people.
Yeah.
If you feel that you're at that point where you do not know whether to go left or to go right, you need people who have gone ahead of you in that path to direct you. So that was one of the things that helped me. Prof was one of the people that held my hand through this process. And of course, I have other great senior colleagues in the industry that I still reach out to and still learn from. So whenever you're at that point where you feel you don't know whether to go right or left, you need people, ask people who have gone ahead of you in that journey to direct you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We'll say a big thank you to you all for listening to us. And of course, to Mrs. Rita Babalola. Thank you for the opportunity, and to everyone. And of course, to Prof himself. Thank you, everyone. So until we meet again, yes, we're going to be having this often. It's a new year. It's a beautiful year. Get ready to kickstart your career. And we wish you all the best from here. Beacon Gate, we are saying, have a lovely day. Remember, it's the month of love, so we are expecting our own package. All right. So thank you, everyone. We love you.
Thank you so much and have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.